Hello everyone, welcome back to our Design a Camera tutorial. In the previous videos, we showed you how to create the typical components of a camera. Today we are going to show you how to create the final assembly of it in ZW3D. Let's begin. Firstly, create a new assembly file in ZW3D. Then, we insert the first component, top cover. As the top-down design method is used for the main body of the camera, we use the default frame as the placement type for the inserting component. Afterwards, we insert the back cover and the front cover using the same method. Next, we insert the internal module of this camera. For this component, we use the point placement type and put it in the assembly. Then we add the constraint for it. Firstly, add the concentric constraints for the internal module pin and the inserting hole of the camera cover. Then, add the coincident constraints for the bottom face for both of them. To avoid rotation for the previous concentric constraints, we add the parallel constraints for the back surface of the internal module and the back cover external surface. Next, insert and mount the hoop on the camera's front cover, which will be used to fix the camera lens later. Also, add the coincident constraint and the concentric constraint for the hoop. Then, add the concentric constraints for the mounting holes to lock the rotation of the hoop. Next, we will mount the lens on the camera body. Firstly, we insert the lens. Then, add the constraints. Similarly, we add the coincident constraint and the concentric constraint for the lens, and check the lock rotation option for the concentric constraint. Afterwards, insert the connection components for the flashlight one by one and use the middle constraints to set the components in the defined middle position. Now, we have finished the connection components insertion to the camera assembly. Next, inserting the internal flashlight. Add the concentric constraints and middle constraints to mount the internal flashlight on the connection components. To make sure the flashlight and the connection components assembly is in the right position, we use the coincident constraints together with the offset range, and set the minimum and maximum offset values for it. Now, drag and check the motion of the flashlight. We can see there is still incorrect motion that will cause interference. Therefore, we need to add the angle constraint for the connection component. Set the angle range between 90 degrees and 0 degree. Check the motion again. Now the motion is correct. The remaining components assembly can be finished in the similar way. Here's the final assembly result. Stay tuned for the next part of our tutorial where we will show you how to apply different configurations to one assembly.